Firenze, the birthplace of the Renaissance, and we stay in a nice hotel, the Grand Hotel Baglioni. And George and Merle just happen to have kind of a penthouse suite. Each room is different in a lot of these big European hotels. And in this case, they had a corner suite with a view of Santa Maria Novella, San Lorenzo, and they had their own little patio out here. Now, this is most unusual. Don't expect that every time you travel. You buy your tickets for the bus at a newsstand, and we need that for another special journey. We're going to take the public bus to have a look at kind of the residential back streets of the city, the place where the real people live. And we're heading for a truly wonderful destination. It's across the river, crossing the Arno River, and we're going to go up the hill to Piazzale Michelangelo. Well, this bus ride is short enough that it doesn't really matter if you're standing or sitting. You can still enjoy the view outside. We're going by some big mansions and some beautiful parks. Remember to validate your ticket when you get on board. You just stick it in that little punch machine. That way it's valid. You could walk up here, but that's quite a hike and it's uphill. Instead, take the city bus. You'll be here in half an hour and you get this commanding view of the Duomo and the whole city spread out down below. It's a great spot for one of our group shots. And they've got souvenir stands up here. You can get a snack and a spectacular view out over the city. It's really worthwhile. And of course, we always take some time for souvenir shopping, pick up some postcards or silk scarves or little prints that are nicely framed or refrigerator magnets or anything that says Florence on it, as long as it's not too big, heavy, or too expensive. And then it's really an easy walk back down to the city. You just go down the staircase. It takes about 10 minutes to walk down the staircase, and you end up at the bottom of the hill, and you go through this impressive gateway that was part of the old medieval wall that stretched around the city. Really quite something. You don't see the wall and the gates when you're back in the center of town, but out here on the edge, there it is. So we pass through this gateway, and it's cool and shaded here. It's a narrow lane. And then you continue walking another 10 minutes through some really quite interesting Renaissance street scenes. We're across the Arno now in what's called Ultra Arno. And we're heading ultimately back to the Ponte Vecchio and back into the heart of historic Florence. A nice view of the Ponte Vecchio as we cross this old bridge. It's famous for its goldsmiths, fancy, expensive jewelry shops. There's a bunch of old locks strung together to secure the shops here. And the Ponte Vecchio leads you right back into the heart of town. We're looking at some statues on the outside of an old building called Orsan Michele. Nanni di Banco created these for figures, and you have smaller figures down below them showing the craftsmen and the guild persons. There are saints. There are heroes of the church on the outside of Orsan Michele. The building itself dates back to 1337, and these sculptures are largely from the 1400s and 1500s. There's St. Peter holding the key to heaven, the outside of Orsan Michele. It was a grain warehouse for a while and then became a church. Now it's open as a museum. They have active workshops here to replace and restore some of the statues that are on the outsides of the buildings. The Duomo is constantly a work in progress, for example, the great cathedral. And we are now moving along. That brings to a close our segment in Florence.